Taiwanese？ 你们都是台湾来的吗 ？Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. Well, you also have this language, right? 你们的文法是一样的 you're mostly the same. So, 2是200，为什么？3是300，4是400，是2是200，为什么？Does anybody understand how it works? Okay. If you don't really understand these ideas in Chinese, then to try to learn them in another language, if it's English or Japanese or French, it doesn't matter. If you don't really understand it in Chinese, it's going to be hard to understand in English. So, what about something a bit simpler? If we talk about a sentence, every language has the same basic parts. We all have sounds we put into words, words into sentences. Every language has the same basic idea that a sentence needs a subject and a verb, right? Yeah. If I just say, 我的哥哥
Your brother.
Yeah. 是一个句子吗
No.
Because you're waiting to hear about, you know, if you point, 我的哥哥 then there's some grammar there. I'm pointing at him. He is my brother. This you can understand, right?
Right.
What are you guys doing underneath the desk?
I don't know. What's wrong with you?
Alright, stop messing around. Alright? So, there is some language that we can use where the sentence isn't all words. If you point, that has meaning too, right? Sometimes it's in your face. Like, understand?
Understand.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'm looking at you and I say understand, then you know what my meaning is. But if we're talking about a sentence that is going to be written down, we can't point, we can't look. You guys gotta stop messing around with that.
No, it's
Alright.
just broke out table.
Okay, and don't break the tables. Okay. So to make a sentence that is written down clear, all of the information has to be in the words and in the relationships. You can't use your fingers to point, you can't look at people, it all has to be in the words. Which means that we need to understand how we're putting these words together. So what about in a Chinese sentence? If we want to make a sentence in Chinese, there are certain patterns we can follow. For one thing, in Chinese, every time you have the subject, it's a person. Right? So if I say, for example, if I just say, the door closes. 中文的意思是关门, right? Yeah. Who closes the door? But I said the door closes, right? So the sentence that I made, remember, we're talking about something written down. You don't see me close the door. All you know is this information. Where's the teacher? Where am I in that sentence? Okay. The problem with English sentences like this is actually the Chinese. For you, this problem is a Chinese problem because you see this sentence and you see a person. 有人关门 one. In Chinese, the door can't close itself. There has to be a person. That's how the grammar in Chinese works. If there's an action, there has to be a person. So when you get to things like the sun is shining, in Chinese, that's not really an action. It's just describing it is sunny. That's how you say that in Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Because if there's an action, there has to be a person. Somebody makes the sun shine. The wind is blowing. In Chinese, you can say the wind is strong, right? But there's no action there. If the door closes, that's an action, there has to be a person. So when you leave Chinese and you come into English, you end up with a sentence like this. All right? What does this mean? Who can't drink what? Say 不可以喝啤酒. But it's a person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in English. That's the problem. In Chinese, 我们不可以喝啤酒，啤酒不可以喝，都是一样的意思。也可以说不可以喝啤酒。But in English, we have a problem. If I try that, can't drink beer. Or closes the door. Then we have a problem because where's the subject? Who can't drink beer? Now, again, this looks like an English grammar problem. 英文很难哦，不是，是中文的问题。Because most languages are not like Chinese on this. The reason you can say this in Chinese is because you know the subject is a person. 每个句子需要 subject and verb. Every sentence needs this in every language. It doesn't make sense otherwise. If I just say closes the door, who? It's not a whole idea. But if I say the door closes, now I have a subject and I have a verb. In Chinese, you handle this a different way. Because the subject is always a person, even if I don't say it, this isn't elementary school, okay guys? Even if I don't say the subject, you know it has to be a person. We do this in every language. We do this in English in a lot of different ways. Think about, for example, the word Chinese. You know that a noun is countable or uncountable, right? 有可数跟不可数的. Right. So, I'm Canadian. There are many Canadians, right? There are 35 million Canadians. I don't care how many Americans there are, right? But there are 23 million Taiwanese. Why not Taiwaneses? One Chinese, two Chinese. 他们是不可数的吗? Why does Chinese not have an S? Taiwanese does not have an S. So, 为什么? One American, two Americans. One Englishman, two Englishmen. Men, right? Who do that. One Spaniard, two Spaniards. People from Spain have a special name. All right? But one Chinese, two Chinese. One Taiwanese, two Taiwanese. Why? put an S on adjectives, it's only on nouns, right? So, it's not a noun, it's an adjective. If I talk about 10 Chinese, the missing word is people. I can talk about the language, Chinese as a language, Taiwanese as a language, a language is uncountable that way, right? But if I'm talking about something that I can count, 1 Chinese, 2 Chinese, it can't have any other meaning. 一定是人, right? 不是狗, 不是食物, right? It's not anything else, it has to be people. So, I don't always have to say this word. Okay? That's how adjectives like that work. We can drop the noun, and then it becomes a noun for us. But it's still an adjective, because we can't add S. Chinese does this too, right? How about, for example, 我很快乐? Where's the verb? 动词在哪里? Yeah, but happy is an adjective. Happy is an adjective. 快乐是形容词. It's an adverb, right? Very. I'm very happy. So, really? Nobody understands Chinese grammar? See, Chinese does something similar to this. When you say, I happy in Chinese, the reason is the meat. Come on, dude. Morning. This idea, this verb to be, it can't be anything else. You can't say, I go happy, I do happy, I make happy, I have happy. None of those work, right? 中文也是我去快乐，没有意思, right? It doesn't make sense. So, what you have is only one meaning, so you can drop it. You don't have to say it. When you do that, then this adjective, yeah, this becomes the verb. But it's an adjective. It's just in that sentence, you use it like a verb, just like this. Okay? This is the pattern in many languages, and it's the same in many languages, the same kind of pattern. What's different is how we do it. In English, an adjective can become a noun. A noun can become an adjective. But an adjective cannot be a verb. I happy is bad English. We need the verb. So, if you don't understand why this is okay in Chinese, then you won't understand why it's wrong in English. 了解我的意思吗？如果你不太了解中文的文法，你不了解为什么中文可以这样子，我快乐还是啤酒不快乐？如果你不了解它的规则，它为什么可以用？所以很难了解为什么英文不可以。Right? So, if you have trouble with anything in English, try to understand how Chinese works first, and then it's actually a lot easier. So, this problem here, once we know the problem, when we understand the problem, then it's easy to fix. So, who can't drink? The teacher. I'm allowed to drink. Students can't drink, right? The problem is in English, this sentence means beer, can't drink. He's not happy, because he's not allowed to drink. Okay? Or he doesn't have hands, so he can't. Alright? The thing is, that's what it means in English. So, when you use the Chinese structure,